Hey, welcome back to Volk Superworks. Got me a cigarette, cup of coffee, and a brand new project. I've got a pressure washer here, and I'll show it to you in a minute. My dad bought this thing like 15 years ago, something like that, and he got it all out and assembled it and fired it up. Ran great for like 5 minutes. Shot the water out, plenty of pressure, everything like that, and then it would quit. It would just seize. And I thought, man, there's something definitely wrong with that, but I never had any time to really get into it and work on it. So I've got a little time now, and I got to thinking that if I had the pressure washer running, it'd be a whole lot easier blasting the grease and the old oil and everything off of some of the greasy parts. So I'm going to get into it today. Let me show you around the pressure washer. There's the old pressure washer. You can see it's been sitting for quite a while. It's really kind of a mystery to me that this thing will, after you run it and it seizes, it'll cool down and it'll pull fine. To this day, it's been sitting, nobody even touching it for like 10 years that I know of, and it pulls fine. So I don't really, in my mind, it's not the engine seizing here. Haven't found any kind of metal in the oil or anything like that, like it's spun a bearing or anything. I think it's really, in my mind, I'm really suspect of the pump here. And this pump, maybe it's the culprit and why it's seizing up. At any rate, we're going to get into this project and see if we can salvage the old pressure washer and put it to use. I'm sure that I'm going to have to do a little work on the carburetor, because with gas without any stabilizer in it, will totally gum up a carburetor. I'm going to have to pull that off, get the old gas out of the tank, and see if I can get this fired up. Okay folks, I've made a little bit of progress with this. I took, pumped all the old gas out of it and put some fresh gas in it. Haven't tried to start it or anything. I'm still kind of in the preliminary stages of seeing what's going on here, but I did take my parts cleaning brush with a little bit of diesel fuel on it and went over all my linkages. They all seem to be working free. I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to be a problem. And let's check the oil here and see what we've got. The oil's fairly clean. It's on full, so I didn't see any signs ever in this. When I checked the oil before, a lot of times when the engine will seize, you'll see signs of like metal shavings, really super fine metal shavings in the oil and so on and so forth like that. Never seen anything like that in this engine, but I've never fooled with it other than that, just to see if it was locked up. But anyhow, what I'm going to do, I want to show you one thing I did find. On the bottom here, you see those two? The lower one is to drain the oil. The upper one, the black one there, that's to fill the oil. So I had to let that down real quick. I'm losing some gas out of here. I just wanted to show you that when I took the lower cap loose, there's no oil in the pump. I don't know how long this thing's going to survive. If it is indeed the pump, I don't know if it had a leak and the oil leaked out, or if no oil was ever put in there, even from when it was new. So we're going to try in just a minute or two, get this thing, got to get it primed here. Just push that 3 times, and we're going to see if we can get this thing fired up. I'm still wondering if my carburetor is going to cooperate with me or not, but we'll find out. Well, okay, I tried to fire it up, but it wouldn't fire, so I went in and popped the spark plug out. It was really getting clean and everything, no problem with that, but I'm thinking I may have a ground problem, or maybe it just be some other simple thing. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions that it's a terrible situation. It could be something easy to fix, so I'm going to dig on into it here, and I'll catch back up in a few. Okay, got the top of it torn off here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make sure the way this ignition is timed, it's going to fire off the position of the flywheel. I want to make sure that all this is clean and that the coil can pick up what the flywheel is telling it to do. Doesn't look like I have any problem. My spark plug wire's not broken anywhere. It's still good and flexible, not cracked like you know, sometimes if this was pinched between a piece of metal, for example, it's going to ground out before you get the spark out of here. And like I said before, the spark plug is not fouled, you know, where it actually is. This thing probably only has 10 hours on it, but things do have a way of breaking down when they're not used on a regular basis. Like for a carburetor, for example, it'll get gummed up, or you'll have seals that will shrink. You know, you can park a car for a long time and things will be wrong with it when you start it the next time, if it does start, that weren't wrong with it whenever you parked it. So I'm just going to have to keep plugging away at this until we get it running. Alright folks, been doing a little cleaning here. I got the trigger on my flywheel cleaned, also on the coil here. I cleaned on it a little bit. I'm kind of hoping this will be an easy fix. I do want to make sure that my ground on the bottom of the coil, everything is just as it should be. So I gotta make sure everything's grounded and so on and so forth, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, actually we got a little success now. We've got spark, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together on top, you know, enough to get it, see if I can get this thing running. Then I can finish all the rest of the tin and all the pretty dressing or whatever you want to call it that goes over top of that. I'll take care of that later. I'm really just worried about getting it running right now. So we've got spark, and that's a good thing. Now we just need to get the fuel right. Alright folks, I'm back. I was able to get it to fire up. You know, I could prime it. What this primer does, it shoots gas straight through here. I don't know if you can see it or not, the little bitty nozzle there, straight out. It shoots gas straight into the cylinder, and it'll fire up and it'll run on that. Runs good, but when it comes to running on its own, you know, without using the primer bulb, it runs out of gas. So I've got probably the main jet plugged up here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get all this cleaned up. It's really hard to work with these old, I call them disposable carburetors, just a little plastic carburetor. You can't do a whole lot with them, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get it all cleared up. It's just not getting enough gas to idle or run under its own power. So we'll give it a shot, see if we can get it running. Alright folks, got it fired up. It's got a lot of old oil and stuff on the cylinders and exhaust that's kind of cooking off of it. It hadn't been run for so long, but at any rate, I'm going to kind of show you after I took the carburetor off and I blew it out, got rid of the whatever was stopping it up. I'm going to go ahead and prime it here. Get about 3 pumps and we'll fire it up. Well folks, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the air cleaner back on it and all the trim and everything, and in the morning I'm going to try this thing out and see if we can just test pressure washing a few things. Alright guys, I want to go ahead and try out the pressure washer on my wife's car here. I guess that's a success.